In this video, I'm going to show you sections and why they are the backbone of our Squarespace pages. I'm in SquareForge, which is our rapid template builder. This is what I call a playground page. I can mess around with this as much as I want and it won't impact anything that's live. This is all hidden from Google. And you can see I've got some previous tutorial content in here, so we can use this if we want. But when I scroll through this page, we can see that we've got this Add Section tab appearing. And you've probably already guessed this, but when we add this section, it will add it in that location. However, there's a few other things with our section designs that we can look at. We can use these arrows to move the sections up and down. There's one of my favorite features, which is Save Section. So essentially add to favorites. That allows us to save it to this site or our Squarespace account. Really useful for professional designers who have multiple Squarespace sites. Also, we've got the option to duplicate a section. I'll just show that now. And you could, for example, try it with different color schemes using our color pack in Squarespace. And then you can do a above and below comparison to see which one works best for you. Likewise, you can use this if you're a professional designer with your clients to show how you can make variations without having to re-go through the work of reverting back to the previous version. So we can either save it as a favorite, then edit, or do what I do generally, which is doing this above-below comparison as well. And then we can sort the ordering out to see how it fits with the header or the masthead and everything else that goes with it. So that's all nice and useful. Let's now have a look at designing our own section. So I'm going to go to Add Section. And we can see we've got all of the Squarespace template sections in here. Now, unfortunately, these haven't changed a great deal since the first inception. That's why we built SquareForge, because we've added another 300 section designs that we use on a day in, day out basis for our clients that go in addition to this. The way we work it is we actually start out on a SquareForge master template and then we work from there. But say we've got some saved sections in our site and we've got some examples here and we wanted to add in a saved section like this benefits block here. We can either tick it and we got the one selected. So we can select all and delete. I'm not going to delete it. Instead of ticking on that option, I'm going to select somewhere else on that area to add it into our page. I'm just going to accept this cookie banner here just to move that out of the way. And now we've got our content in our page and we can resort it. So we've got a typical hero section at the top. Then we've got our section below. And the one thing that's, I think, really important with section designs is it makes us divide up our page so it flows better, but also makes it really modular and adaptable for us in future as well. So for example, I can add another section, maybe like FAQs. And if I don't want this banding effect where we've got this high contrast, I can certainly go to Edit Section and then change the color pack. So then it feels like it's flowing better from one section to the next. Of course, I can adjust the fonts so it all ties in nicely and move our content sections around. So the way to think of it is we have individual pages. This is a collection of sections, and then each section can be sorted or adapted to move above and below each other. Then within sections, we have blocks. And my next video will be to go into more detail on these blocks, but we've got everything from text blocks, buttons, images, or more dynamic sections like summary blocks, where we can feed content through from other pages. Summary blocks will definitely warrant its own video, and it's a great way of bringing in relevant products or latest news stories relating to an individual page. Or of course, if we are building our homepage, we can feed in our latest news stories. We can bring in events from a calendar or our featured products all into the homepage to make it look dynamic and helpful to the viewer. We can change the format of things like summary blocks. We can move the blocks around on this 24-column grid, so everything can be adjusted and slot together like Lego. We've also got the option to add in shapes and build up compositions of various elements in our designs. But that's all I wanted to show you in this case, is how each of the sections work. I do, however, want to show you one more thing before we wrap up. I'm going to go to Edit Section over this Hero section, and we're going to add in a background image. Before we do that, we can adjust the grid structures here. Again, I'm going to create a whole separate video on adjusting these gaps, getting the heights and widths right so we can get our website to flow. So we're going to jump to background. We've already looked at colors, which allows us to change the color pack. To edit our color packs, we go to this site style section here. But I'm going to go to background, and we've got three options. We can add an image, we can add a video, or we can add artwork, which is a moving animation going behind the text. And you can do some really intricate things with the background option, set it to full bleed or inset. But we're going to go to image, and we're going to browse stock images, and we're going to look at Unsplash, and we're going to have something that's going to be quite nice, and that one will do. That will work in that ratio as well. And I'm going to basically adjust the focal point by bringing this circle up or down so we can get the horizon into our image. A couple more effects before we wrap up with this. We can apply an overlay and increase the opacity of that overlay. We can apply an image effect, so a parallax effect, a film grain effect, a liquid effect, so when we move the mouse over it, it distorts the image. Circles effect does the same, but it's almost like slices, and the same with the lines as well. It creates this sliced effect when we roll over. Recommend having a play with it if you're interested. The one we use most of all would be the parallax effect. So I'm moving, again, this image, because the way it will roll over it now with the parallax effect, with the background image moves at a different rate to the text, we may have to just adjust those settings. What I'm going to do finally is take this block, align it to the left now, so it goes perfectly with the section below. And we're going to do the same now with these two buttons below that. So now we've got our hero section with the parallax image, then feeding it into two additional content sections, finally to a third, which is our new section, which is actually in the same section as the FAQs. If I wanted to separate them, and this will be the final part of this tutorial, I promise, I'm going to duplicate it, and then we're going to get rid of content we don't want by selecting it all and using the trash can icon. Please, if unsure, duplicate a section or save it as a favorite before you try that. And now this time we're going to remove the summary block from the section above. We're going to reduce the height of these text blocks so our content will fit in a snug way. And there we go. If we exit this edit mode, click this arrow to go to preview, we'll have a full screen preview of how our page now clicks together using multiple sections. And bear in mind, we can use different background colors, images, textures, or animations to make each section stand out as we choose. I hope this has given you a good introduction to sections, how we can save them as favorites, so we can build up a toolkit of layouts that we can then use either for our own website or for our client's website. But that's all from me today. If you need anything else, drop me a message. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.